We have just seen rushes direct from Hollywood of pictures being released in the coming weeks. And we are proud to announce that this theater will soon bring you the greatest array of pictures ever to reach our screen. You'll see the finest stars in exciting performances. You'll thrill to the suspense, comedy, romance, and drama of world-famous stories. Here's a glimpse of a few of them coming to this theater soon.
How come I don't get a nameplate?
You're the man on the moon. You don't need a nameplate.
Hello, yes. I am the man on the moon, Norman Rafferty. From broadcasting from an undisclosed location somewhere in the Mare Tranquillia. I am joined today by the mighty Ractus, Griffin. Is it Griffin Varro or just Griffin?
Either, however you want.
Okay.
I've never cared.
So Griffin, Huggo, and Arcloid.
Hugo.
It's the juice. And so in the past few weeks, we have been playtesting. It came from the drive-in, which was one of the Kickstarted books. Thank you very much for Urban Jungle, because it had a lot of books. We have had, even though we have been forced to evacuate the Earth before it is inevitably destroyed by forces both natural and hubris. We have still been very productive here at the Ministry of Games. Producing...
The only ministry still functioning in the apocalypse.
Ingsoc forever.
Enjoy the present while we hope for the future. So we've been working on the drive-in movie. So last time we did Trail of the Slime Monsters. Also be released under the title I Was a Teenage Slime Monster. Despite that title making no sense whatsoever.
That was the remake, huh?
Did you ever see the movie?
Would it be better to call it Teenagers versus Slime Monsters?
No, I mean it would be I Was a Teenage Slime Monster, because it gets the kids. Did you ever see Teenagers from Outer Space?
Yes.
That was one of the movies that was on Mystery Science Theater. And it's hilarious because when the saucer opens up and the 40-year-old guy gets out, they say, wow, really old teenagers from outer space. So that's one of my favorite movies. That one's really bad. So, no, you just release the same movie under different titles, because that way the same theater might accidentally book the same movie twice because they don't know any better. And so when we ended with Griffin having the weakest star power showing with only a D8. And Hugo had a D12 and everyone else had a D10. So Griffin's probably mad that we cut too much of his screen time.
What's up, losers? I'm about to go to the Dick Van Cat show tonight. What are you guys doing? I'll catch y'all later. Bye.
I didn't get a single bit of my royalties from my musical numbers. They just don't recognize my genius.
I got my check ahead of time.
Question. I do have a question.
Yep.
Are these games a series of single one-shots, or are they continued?
Well, I'm thinking that the meta should be that each movie is a self-contained one-shot adventure. But the campaign is the studio where we're trying to make movies and try to make money at them.
Well, I'm asking does your character advance? Do you take experience and improve your character along the story?
In the current scheme of the rules, yes, your character still advances unless you don't want to advance.
And we have goals and accomplishments and whatnot?
Yeah.
Which does bring up another thing that I forgot. I'm glad you brought that up, Theta. I forgot to ask everyone if they had a personal goal, which was something that they specifically wanted to do.
I do.
What is that?
To steal the show.
Steal the show. Right. So I'm thinking that if we're going to go ahead and have personal goals, the personal goals should be something related to your acting career, not necessarily something in the movie, because you don't know what's going to be in the movie. Which also means I think we need to give people a listing of appropriate goals.
Well,
I like that idea.
I mean, like, I had the goal last time of be remembered.
Be remembered.
Because my character is an old school actor who's out of the limelight.
Well, congratulations. Not only did you manage to get your moviegoer opinion die up to 10, but you also were successful in the post star power role. So apparently, Trail of the Slime Monsters is indeed your breakout hit. So congratulations. You have accomplished your goal of be remembered.
Yes, we keep bumping into each other at all the Hollywood parties.
I am going, as a reward, I'm going to go ahead and give you the gift of increased career.
So I didn't make mine yet.
Actually, wait, what was your type? Beta.
Quiet.
Oh. I'm going to give you increased type because you probably want to be remembered for your performance and not, you want to be remembered for the kind of character actor you are and not the performance you gave in the movie. So I'm going to give you increased type. So people remember you as that guy who doesn't say much. But you have one of those faces that the camera likes to linger on. It's not what we would call conventionally attractive.
I don't know. If it's a silent movie, I think you'd want conventionally attractive. You don't want,
Actually,
it's
yes,
the
thing.
transfer from silent movie to talkie where I have a horrible voice, but I look good.
That was the whole thing that happened between silent and talkies was, back in the silent era, they would literally just cast whichever the most beautiful people were because you just had to sit there and
Actually, I'm
pantomime. But then all of a sudden, like, people actually had to start talking and acting. A lot of the silent actors fell out by the wayside because while they looked the part, the minute they started talking, most people were like, "Ew, what's going on there?"
Basically, Rakdos is a silver fox, or in this case, a silver porcupine.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Was there any?
He just manages to make the cut because he happens to have enough.
And Griffin.
Was there any goal association in association with finishing the movie?
Well, that's a good question because I'm thinking that one thing that helps with improv is like one of the reasons why, like on Whose Line Is It Anyway, they structure it to give everybody like a piece of paper or characterization or something like that. Is so the actors have something to work towards. So, and that might be a specific goal of what you're working towards might be better than just the vague goal of get my star power as high as possible. I mean, obviously you want to do that.
That sounds like a thing. A fun thing to do maybe would be to have everybody has a secret goal of something to include in a movie that they're trying to shoehorn in.
Yeah, don't think I didn't think about that.
In this movie, you want to try and get a romance scene in with Hugo's character.
I need this movie to have a monologue about the environment.
Well, I just mean like in this movie, here's your secret goal. Your character and Hugo's character have to have a romance, and throughout the movie, I'm trying to have a romance with Hugo, and Hugo doesn't know why, or doesn't know to go along. Yeah.
Dana has to convince me to participate in a romance scene without me knowing why.
Right.
Either which way, I could be opposed to it.
And I mean, those don't even have to be goals. Those could be director's notes.
That actually, I like that idea because it not only is a conflict between me and Theta, he could just literally go to the director, say, "I try to convince the director to write a romance scene in at the last minute, and I roll high enough on my convincing scores. I get the director on board with it, and all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, Hugo. The next day, you get notes about a romance scene that you had no idea about, and then I have to deal with it.
You know, in the way that like Vital Hearts has quests and it has goals. You Came from the Drive-In can have director's notes and it can have goals.
No, these are all good ideas.
So yeah. So like I said, yeah, as Beta probably touched upon, I think initially when we think about like setting up this kind of like how you want to explain how you set this up to players, it's kind of like you could go two routes. We could literally just be actors playing scenes in a movie, and you as a GM is just a person throwing out scenes. And hey, you're doing a romance scene. You and Arkloid, Theta and Arkloid are going to be in a romance scene together. Go, ready, set, action, boom, and you guys make your roles and you act out the scene. Or it could literally be like, hey, Data's the set designer, Lloyd is the writer, Griffith's the cinematographer, I'm the, assistant director, and we all have to finagle, the making of the movie behind the scenes. Or even to be even more crazy about it, we could even do both where we have dual characters, whereas we have studio characters and we have movie characters. Therefore, the one shot literally becomes the opportunity of us literally just rolling characters for the one shot. So you say, "Hey, we're making an action movie, right? All right, everybody. So this session is going to be about us setting up the movie. Next session will be us filming, doing the movie, and the third session will be the post epilogue of the movie and its reception." Then that way we actually have, you give the GM more tools to play around with, and the players get to jump around and do more interesting things with their characters. And so literally we could go, hey, you as a GM could literally go, hey, for the movie part, you could just make characters for your players. Hey, I have a, heroine character, a female heroine character. Griffin, you're going to play that guy. Arcaloid, you're going to play the comic relief. Data, you're going to play the villain. Hugo, you're going to play the plucky comic relief. And that just becomes our little part of the one shot. But the meta is we're running the studio, we're trying to make the movie happen. And then even telling the GM, like, hey, you don't even have to be constrained with making up the characters. You can literally just ask the characters, like, hey, we're going to make an action movie. Who wants to play what? What ideas do you have? What kind of action movie do you want to make? What kind of characters do you guys want to play? Then that way someone, Data goes, hey, I want to play like the bullet driver character. Okay, fine. You now are a villain with a race car or something like that. Get what I'm saying? Like, I think that would really be an interesting concept to play with.
No, and definitely I would want to make these random goals be something that's more positive. Like one thing I always worry about when you have characters who have secret goals is that you might have characters who are there to sabotage the project. Which,
Right, I agree.
if you're playing like Paranoia, like where everyone's expecting you guys to backstab each other, that can be okay. But also, Paranoia is only good in small doses, and Paranoia is not a campaign.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't.
I would get to trying to backstab everybody is the current goal I have set, which is to steal the show, which is basically outdo them all rather than make them fail.
Yeah, I would probably just change that to have a big melodramatic scene that you steal. Like maybe not steal the show, but steal a scene.
Well, I think I did accomplish that at least once during the last session.
But we also cast you as the promotional guy, so
yeah.
I will go ahead and give you increased type as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that like a hidden goal would be something to destroy the movie. I just think it would be more something you would try to get into the movie, and if you accomplish getting it in the movie without anybody knowing that you're trying to do it, that's what a real whose line is it anyway scenario.
Yeah,
I've got these papers in my pocket, and I need to pull one out and try to do it real quick.
Yeah, I think.
No,
Yeah,
I think.
the
Well, that's why I'm
obvious.
suggesting that's what we have to do. No, because I've seen a lot of RPGs that confuse party conflict with role playing.
Right. And I think, you have to put the obvious caveat is like, the point is you have to do this in the context of us cooperatively making a movie.
I mean,
like,
specifically the whose line is it anyway. I'm going to go going back to that because it was the inspiration for what you said. They have that game where it's a party game or whatever it is, where everybody is a specific person at the party and somebody's trying to guess who they all are. Oh, put that into the context of a movie. Everybody at this movie has one thing that they need to get in. And maybe you can't guess what it is, but a director knows, and the director's looking for it.
Okay, yeah, no, and I'm making down, some ideas of what that might be. No, that's a pretty good idea. So each, I mean, because the assumption here is that you guys are all actors who want to promote your career. So, but the idea is that you want the movie to succeed because you want to make money. If the movie's terrible, none of you look good. So, but on the other hand, I like the idea that we have secret goals. All of you are willing to make the movie worse if it makes you look better, but not all of you. Yeah. So
risk reward, and obviously as the GM, you should advise your players to be like, yeah, you can have any secret goal you want, but if your secret goal is literally going to put the whole film risk, you realize you're taking a huge risk.
Oh, my thought was that the director, the GM, gives you your secret goal. The director wants this in the movie.
No,
Well,
even
it
better.
could be flexible because it could come from anywhere. Like you could literally say, like, okay, guess what, Data? Your agent calls you up and says they got a really juicy sponsor, but you have to put in a product placement in the next movie, even though the director doesn't want one. And you have to figure out a way. You have to figure out a way to sneak it in without the director being pissed off about it.
Right,
Or,
right. I mean,
conversely, you get a note one day from the director saying, "Hey, I just got this big corporate sponsor, and can you please put the soda can in your romance scene?"
I mean, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I mean, we're saying the same thing.
My
So
first
basically,
taste is just like the
we're
fresh taste of Coca-Cola.
we sit down and we say, okay, we're gonna make a action movie, and everybody gets handed like a piece of paper and says, okay, yours is you need to include a a car chase where you go through like boxes and tomato stands and have to break through a mirror or whatever. And that's my secret goal, that in this movie I have to find out a way to get into a car chase with somebody and do this, do this thing. Whereas Hugo might get the, okay, during this action movie, I need you to have a romance with the leading lady and get her on top of a building to have, the confession of love scene. And you have to figure out a way to have that happen in the movie on your own because we're the players and we're doing these things. But the director, the GM, says, okay, this is the type of movie and these are the hidden goals that I want you to try to accomplish. And since the hidden goal or the director's note is an imperative for you to earn experience, you, the player, is also going to want to do this thing because experience is a carrot.
Yes. So yeah, that sounds great. And it doesn't have to be secret either. This could be something that could be completely set up in the quote unquote session 0 of
Well, I don't know. I think I find the whole secret, the director's note, because that way you're not working as a group to get it done, but you are trying to get something done. And the movie, it's more of a movie to everybody else because they don't know why you're doing this thing. Like, why does this guy keep trying to get to a car? I mean, why is Hugo constantly hanging out with this woman that seems to hate him?
I think
I like that idea. I really do.
I think slightly related to this, after everyone gets like, you need to set up this scene, a phase where we actually buy the sets might be a little bit humorous or interesting, where you have to either spend the budget or spend your star power in order to get a place for the scene you want to happen, and then have those transition. Because here we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different locations that the studio set up. We just never went to the Cone River.
Is that something y'all did in the first session?
No, it was.
No,
we didn't even realize it was there.
We just never managed.
No. I mean, is that something that you did? You guys like bought sets or something?
No, we didn't. This is like a suggestion of like what we could possibly do. Like the sugarcane fields like didn't exist until we suddenly needed to get lost somewhere that wasn't like on the road.
I mean, that seems pretty interesting. Like instead of buying equipment, we're buying sets for the game to take place.
Might simplify it down from like buying your individual cameras here or something.
Once again, that's an interesting idea to throw into having the GM go, "Hey, we're setting up a movie." So you go, "We're going to have so many scenes, so many locations. Give me a list of locations you guys want to have."
Or
set up like the metagame of it.
Thinking back to like Myriad Song and everything like that. You know how instead of like having whole packages of stuff, you would have outfits.
Yes.
A set outfit like this. Here's the Nebraskan town outfit, which is the school, a town, a cornfield, etc. Or here's the California beach outfit. This is a number of scene settings.
It would be funny on a movie to movie basis to go, well, we still have these like 2 or 3 sets from last time. We have to incorporate them into this new movie because we don't have the budget.
Yeah, and then you could always have cheap sets or expensive sets.
Yeah, why does the juice bar keep like showing up in every movie? Well, it's because it's real cheap.
And if you've seen Ed Wood or even some 80s movies, there's always the guerrilla filmmaking where you show up at 3 a.m. To film without a
dude.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
What
They
they keep referring to on Red Letter Media, the rodeo, where you go to go up to film the rodeo because it's in town and you need to fill some time on your movie. We're filming the rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Hollywood, and literally like 3/4 of the time I'm watching a TV show or a movie, and I know the exact corner that the film crew went to film this like B-roll stock footage for this movie clip, and it's like literally around the corner from my house. And like every so often I'll be walking to like 7-Eleven, and there's like a dude with a camera sitting on the corner just taking a picture of like the corner intersection traffic, and it's like in like it's California, New York,
Yeah,
Miami,
they're just doing
Chicago.
the panning shot of traffic to show that it's busy and it's during the day, and then they
Yeah,
pan over to a building and then to the set inside of a
yeah,
building.
exactly. And it's even been so bad where I've seen interiors and exteriors and know exactly which, like literally how opposite side of town both shots are. Like they literally went to one side of town and filmed the exterior shot, and then went into a different part of town and shot an interior shot.
One thing, when you were talking about sets and locations, I was also thinking of perhaps having props as another kind of quote unquote kit. And these could give us certain performance bonuses when we're doing things that are in line with the scenery. Like if we're at we're having a fight and we're in a gladiator set like the Coliseum with Circus Maximus, I think it was.
Yeah.
And that we might get presence bonuses for get when you're in there grinding your blades together, you're face to face, and you say that nasty thing that you've always meant to say, to the guy who's been your arch nemesis. You might get a presence bonus for doing something like that. Or if you're trying to intimidate somebody in a jail room scene, then you might get an intimidation bonus.
Right. And then that ties in the whole aspect of us having to make
And if
sure.
it's a cheap set, it's a D8 bonus. If it's a good set, it's a D12 bonus.
Yeah, exactly. That I like that too, because then that gives a benefit to us wanting to set up the movie properly, or having to deal with the repercussions of us messing up the setup of the movie.
Yeah,
So
the only thing I do worry about is that this is a case of adding rules that may not be needed, but I mean they are cool rules that we're coming up with. So
Right, this
Well,
is
actually,
brainstorming phase.
I think we can take that idea and fold that into another idea we already had. I've been assuming that when people show up to the movie, that the moviegoers already have a positive opinion of the movie before they even show up. But now I'm thinking, based off of Arkloid's idea, no, screw that. The moviegoers have zero opinion of your movie. Instead, we have to spend money to raise the production value of the movie by having expensive props and scenery. And that is, if we do that, that gives us our starting value. So if we say we're going to have 3 expensive scenes in this movie, we'll spend 3 of our box offices on that. And that way we start with a moviegoer opinion die of D8 simply because we have 3 expensive scenes.
Oh gosh, and then this brings back to the point of well, it's hard to fail. Well, I mean, yeah, well, you spent all of this on this expensive scenery, but then you just only have a mediocre performance with it. It's like, well, what was the point of spending all the money? It's perfect.
Would it be a like a dwindle die sort of thing where
hmm
you start
Oh
the
yeah, the longer
first?
you stay on the set, the cheaper it
Oh
is.
no, I don't know
once
about
again,
that. That's a good idea, but I mean at the same time, I meant or the first movie you make, you have like D6 worth of stuff to get set wise, and if the movie does good, the dice goes up. If the movie does bad, the dice goes down. Until you're trying to do like a Army of Darkness sort of thing. You're trying to get it on the cheap.
once again, the payoff being that if we spend a lot of resources at the beginning of the movie to boost it up and then fail to get a good reaction, we're going to end up with a lower amount of resources going into the next movie because we already squandered it on the last one. But if by luck roll, like by the luck of the roll, our next movie becomes successful, people do have a positive opinion that we make up those resources and then we get to make a more expensive movie in the
Yeah,
next one.
it turns into like that video game. What was that? Video game maker, whatever that one was.
Yeah, there's a million of them. It's
Yeah, it
basically
doesn't
like
really
you have-
matter how much money you put into the game because sometimes it just sucks or people just love it. Doesn't really matter.
Right. Yeah, like
Well,
Railroad Tycoon, Sim City, yeah, something like that.
we have a saying in the biz. It's the fittest shall survive, yet the unfit may live. It's yeah. Well, also you know, I of course my personal idol is Roger Corman, whose goal was, you know, you want to maximize value while minimizing cost. You know, sure, it's great to be a blockbuster movie, but your ultimate mission is to stay afloat. So take what resources you have and make a movie. It's also like with the slasher movies. The slasher movies weren't huge movies, but the slasher movies only cost like $2-3 million to make. They have no name actors. You film them in the woods. They're not that complicated. A couple buckets of blood, no big deal. So they would only
Would
cost like
the
to make, but they would get $30 or $40 million in receipts.
well, would the budget perhaps be based on dwindle dies? The more you spend, the more we risk losing out.
Now, I'm going to add a new rule that until I come up with a better word for it, I'm going to call them the box offices. And these are dollars that I start the game with that represent our financiers. And at the end of every movie, we'll roll the opinion dice that we gathered from all of the actors, which I've already done in the window here. And each one of those that comes up 4 or better is $1 that the movie earns in the theater. So congratulations, our movie earned $5, 5 box offices. All right.
Yeah, we did pretty great.
We did pretty amazing. All of you earned money, which means like all of you had a good performance. Then you came up 3, 2, or 1. It's like, nope, critics don't even mention you.
Hey guys, see my new Corvette? Isn't it snazzy?
Yep. So then we have to go ahead and decide on our next movie. And like I said, for the next movie is we take the money we earn from this movie, and then we can decide what we want to buy for the next movie. But for the next movie, we reset everything. Sorry, guys, they forgot you. It's like, what have you done for me lately? So everybody gets reset for the next movie, and then so all the opinion dice get back down to 0. And then before we even start the movie, we have to go ahead and start spending from our $5 here, you know, what we want to spend money on to make this movie. One thing that's a little tricky here, though, is okay. So we only get at the end of the movie, we get $1 for each opinion die that came up 4 or better. That means that if we spent like $3 on fancy sets and it only gave us a moviegoer opinion die of D8, technically we've lost money. So that needs to be a little cheaper than that. Or something like that, because that wouldn't quite work. But I did make some notes.
Something like $1 gets you like 2 or 3.
I was also thinking that we would put in an opinion die called product placement. That this is more of a 70s and 80s thing, but the product placement basically is there's another opinion die that is the product people, and that helps our box office because the more we made them happy, the more money they'll pay us. So if I have product placement, every act of the movie, you guys are trying to work in the product somehow. Like, I don't know if you guys watch a lot of bad 80s movies.
I've watched a lot of parodies of bad 80s movies. Does that count?
Okay. No, if you watch some of the direct-to-video movies, often you'll see Coke cans just showing up in the background because Coke was very aggressive about promoting stuff.
It's ubiquitous. I mean, it's so bad. It's a freaking joke in half of the comedy movies about it.
Yeah, in fact, like I think the most ridiculous example of this is obviously Mac and Me, which some of you have seen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, not only does it have the infamous McDonald's scene, just completely ridiculous, but also Coca-Cola is in almost every scene. In fact, Coca-Cola is what keeps the aliens alive. So yeah, it's so ridiculous.
I mean, it's still ridiculous even today because you see like half the action movies, and if you really pay attention, you're like, "Gee, why is everyone driving a Chevy?" Like literally every car in this movie is a Chevy car.
Everyone has top of the line modern Macintosh computer, regardless of how much money they actually have in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah. So no, we could have that. But I mean, that's also Blockbuster. But that started showing up. It was infamous because E.T., which was a big successful blockbuster, had the Reese's Pieces that were in there. Which at the time that was kind of controversial to be that blatant about it. But apparently, nope, not a big deal anymore.
Well, yeah, because M&M turned them down.
Yep, they're regretting that. E.T. for the longest time was one of the biggest box office successes of all time.
It still didn't vault Reese's Pieces over M&M's anyway, so the Mars company is still laughing.
Mattel turned down Toy Story to have Barbie in the movie. Oops. Okay. So no, those were all excellent ideas. I went ahead and took some notes here on that. So, which of course does beg the question. So, what movie did you want to make next?
Well, we did a B. We basically did a B rate like horror movie, right?
We basically did a fusion of two different movies because why make one movie when you can make two? We went ahead and did a fusion of the 1950s rock and roll movies like Rock Around the Clock and Daddy O, those movies to get in on the kid craze. And I fused it with a schlocky atomic monster movie.
What about a beach movie? Those are classic during
Western.
Those are also classic.
Western. I'm thinking Western, or
Western
we could do a murder. We could do a murder mystery.
You know, they don't make Western beach movies because the horses keep drowning.
We could do a murder mystery.
Oh, quick side point. We mentioned goals before. I think you forgot to get around to like I think Hugo and I. Hugo, you didn't have a goal?
What was my
Yeah, you can have an acting goal for your character. Everyone, when they make a new character, you get to pick one goal for that character.
Yeah, I had mend a relationship for mine. As part of the film. I think it did.
Flynn's relationship was beyond mending.
Besides, we mentioned that the movie has this huge gay subtext between you and the other lead.
Exactly. We had a woman come between us, and then we came back together.
You didn't come back together at the end of the movie. He rescued her.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't remember the rescue. Oh,
I do. Well,
okay, that's fine.
I do, and the only person whose opinion matters is mine.
Yes, that's right.
So yeah, in the vein of what we're talking about, I want to tie my actor goal to the type of movie we're gonna make. So let's just decide what kind of movie we're gonna do, and then I'll figure out what my goal is.
Okay. So, well, okay, we're assuming it's the 50s, so westerns are still a thing.
I like westerns. Yeah, let's do a cowboy. Let's do a cowboy and Indians movie.
We could do a western movie. Yeah, I love cowboys and Indians. Yeah, we really don't call them cowboys and Indians.
Gladiator movie.
Oh my God,
Gladiator. We could do a Ben-Hur.
Say the beach movie is still a big thing in the 50s.
Okay, so we have a western, a gladiator movie,
which is also a musical, and we have two actors who have musical.
Okay, musicals are dead. It's just rock music.
So wait. Is this a western or is this a spaghetti western?
Well, this is also when I asked you folks what time period we want to be in. I'm assuming we're still in the 50s, that we're still in the silver screen era. Which means it would be, filmed in like Burbank, possibly Mexico.
All right, so horse with no name sort of scenario.
Yeah, the Shane era.
Oh, okay. Rook, that sort of thing.
What?
Not Rook, Knight. Sorry. I'm trying to think of the name. It's Forgive me for a minute.
I mean, this is the John Wayne era. This is literally the John Wayne era.
This is like the era of cinema that I don't normally look at.
Yeah, True Grit. I mean, they still had like westerns that were black and white, but the spaghetti westerns like literally show up in the 60s and the 70s when
Have Gun Will Travel.
Yeah, Have Gun Will Travel. That's a TV show though.
Yeah, but it's the same concept, same era.
Right. I mean, Maverick, Have Gun Will Travel, Gunsmoke, those, 1950s, those become popular on the TV. But they're still doing Western movies, or auteurs, as they sometimes call them. All right. So basically, I would just ask Raktus, what kind of movie would you want to make?
Even though I suggested beach movie, I'd go down with Western.
Okay. So you're voting for Western. Griffin, what kind of movie would you want to make?
I'm still down for the Western.
So you also want to make a Western. Okay.
Paladin, that was the name of the thing I was trying to remember. Paladin.
That's also a Western thing. Hugo, what kind of movie would you want?
I like to have a nice little face down at noon, mano a mano, gun to
Everybody
gun.
gets to go for Western. Arcoid.
Well, I guess the vote this time is Western, so maybe next time I'll get my Gladiator movie.
Although I will say, Arcloid, I was really digging the idea of doing Ben-Hur.
I could have been Spartacus.
It's hilarious because I spent all this time prepping some different movie sets, and absolutely none of them are Western sets. So yay!
Well, then, for your sake, I'll vote Gladiator, even though I will be outvoted.
I don't have any Gladiator sets either. So, all right. So
spend the money.
Let's see. Yep, Western carries the day. Because I was just going to roll the opinion dice that you had from your last movie to show off your star power to see who gets to vote for the next movie. So Theta's vote doesn't count, but there's still enough Western votes to go.
Am I the first die?
Yeah, the first die was yours. You had a D10.
Oh, okay.
One. No, I was just going to go ahead and roll the opinion. In fact, I was like, we should roll the star power because you guys have the star power. They came in, they said they wanted a Western, boss. In fact, my star power die came up 0, so I have no authority. The actors are dictating everything now. They're going to ruin us, stupid Westerns. Westerns are totally dead.
The patients are running the asylum now, boss.
Everyone knows it's beach movies all the way down now.
Listen, so don't worry about it. Once they start getting all the phone calls and the contract negotiations, they'll call us right back. We'll take over in no time.
All right. So we gotta have a Western. All right. So that means that we gotta write a movie that's around you guys being Western characters.
Listen, it's really simple. Good guys versus bad guys. There's a sleepy town on the edge of some nowhere that's being attacked by some evil banditos, and a stranger comes into town and offers to help them, and mayhem ensues.
Oh, Rafferty, this brings up an interesting point. Well, at least first of all, answer me a technical question. Were there switchblades back in the Western days?
No.
Well, then could I switch my fighting favorite use from my favorite switchblade to my favorite Bowie?
If you spend 1 experience point.
I think I'll do that then. Yep, I got 2. I'll spend 1.
Because that's the way that's part of why the first one is free.
Yeah, I guess I go from a mechanic to farrier.
Whoa, actually, I stand corrected. Switchblades date from the mid-18th century. The earliest known examples of spring-loaded blades were constructed by craftsmen in Europe.
Yeah, I mean,
famously though, you don't see them in many westerns because people like throw a knife at a post or something. They don't, and then throw the knife at a post.
True. Like I said, would a typical cowboy back in the Wild West have a switchblade? No, but
maybe a dandy. A dandy might.
A dandy might, but typically yes. I technically yes, they were in existence back then.
I killed me a dandy.
Far be it for me to suggest that maybe, just maybe, the cowboy movies that they were making in Hollywood are not period accurate.
I mean, that's the irony. Like, he could literally use a switchblade because we think we're not being period accurate, but in reality, technically, he could be period accurate because switchblades existed.
No. His introduction scene during the credits, He stabs a dandy with a broken bottle and then takes a switchblade.
It's actually a time travel movie. The gladiator with the switchblade comes in.
And dances to the Beach Boys on the beach.
Yeah.
Sounds
I'm
more
also
like an
switching to
Austin
Bowie
Powers
because
opening than
Bowie
anything.
is closest to like it's a good all around thing.
Oh, that's one we should have added to the list. Maybe next time. Spy movie.
Yeah, that'll
Ooh,
be
yeah.
popular. I mean, we still make them in the 50s, but that'll be popular in the 60s.
Yeah, in like Flynn? Was that?
That's the 60s.
Nah, well.
This is still Le Carre that came in with the cold. It's like James Bond comes out, and James Bond just sets that whole.
Oh, also heist movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Lupin.
Definitely.
Lupin has a couple of movies back here.
Heist movies are definitely in this era.
Noir movies.
Okay. Okay, so I'm making a list here of roles that would be appropriate for a Western.
Doc Brown. I choose Doc Brown.
Oh,
No.
you can be the Doctor. Sure. I didn't think...
No, I'm joking a joke. Back to the Future 3. I want to be the guy from the future.
Pretending to be someone from the past.
Yeah.
We're not making a science fiction movie. Science
He's
fiction movies are
joking.
those are for kids. Those aren't for real act. Like
We'd have to use the Astounding Science supplement.
I'm reminded of The Office where they're filming a thing and the one guy is pretending to be a robot the entire time, and then they cut to the office manager. He says he was never a robot. That was never written down. And then by the end of the movie, he's like having a breakdown as a robot, and he said, "I just let him be a robot at the end."
that's how you do it.
Yeah, I want to be the guy from the future that is pretending to be the blacksmith. At the end of the movie, I just say something that's anachronistic to the whole thing. Like, okay, well, whatever.
That was totally tubular, guys. So I guess if we're choosing roles, I guess it'd be in order of star power then, wouldn't it?
I'm sorry. What was that?
I guess if we're choosing roles, it'd be in order of star power, wouldn't it? Or at least from the last film. Or what do you think?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it in order of star power, which means, ironically, Griffin, you rolled the highest with a 7.
Whoa, okay, sweet.
And if you want to make up a role, that's also.
Damn it, I'm gonna be the hook.
Well, obviously I gotta be the stranger here, because I gotta double up on everything I'm already good at.
Okay. So for the stranger is going to be Daredevil. So it means we're expecting you to do some stunts.
Hey, I'm gonna be the best at stunts, so this
So
fits
you
perfectly.
immediately erase your old career and replace your career with Daredevil.
Right. Working on that right now.
Okay, Hugo, you're our next highest.
Okay, you know what? I am going to play the villain.
You want to be the villain?
I want to be the bad guy. It's going to be me against Griff.
All right, well,
stranger versus bad guy.
We can do internecine playing. You are change your career to outlaw.
Oh, I thought this was gonna be one where it was an evil sheriff.
I can't stop you from being an evil sheriff if you're the sheriff.
Well, no, what was it? Quick and the Dead? Technically, the guy.
It could work out. I mean, we're literally crafting the story as we speak. You could be literally the evil sheriff that's in my pocket, and we're working.
Well, no. I'm not saying for me. I thought when he was saying outlaw to you, I thought from the list. I didn't know what you were going with. I'm last. Like you said, I'm the last one on the list.
So you're the last one so you're the last one, old man.
Well, no, Arkloid still has to go.
Right. So, well, Arkloid, what role would you want to have in this movie? It's not too late for everyone to be bad guys.
The priest.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. Okay, clerical it is. Go ahead and change yours to clerical. I think that's what we called it in the book, right?
At clergy.
Clergy. Then you're clergy. Okay, and congratulations. No one picked Hooker. So that you're the last one to pick. Theta, did you want to be a hooker?
Zorro is a Western.
Zorro is indeed a Western.
Masked Vigilante.
We can't have two heroes in this movie, Theta. It doesn't work that way.
Nothing says that. There's nothing that says there can't be two heroes.
So
Somebody
we have
has
one
to.
stranger walking into town, and then one person who's already dressing up.
Somebody has to inspire the stranger to action.
So we're gonna have a scene in the middle of this movie. I'll be like, "So is he your sidekick?" And then you both go, "Wait, I'm not his sidekick. He's my sidekick." And you point to each other.
Well, the thing is that the masked vigilante isn't masked all the time. I'm just some guy in town most of the time. And maybe some people think that the stranger is me.
I am now going to go to the Discord, and I'm going to send each of you a private message. This is a randomized goal that you have that you need to work into the movie. This is your personal goal. Don't tell us what it is. It's completely random and just for you.
All right, the excitement builds. So we have.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm sending each one of you a. I went ahead and took notes, added my own stuff to the list, and then worked this in as a random goal. I think this is. Oh my god! Some of these are pro movie, and some of these are against the movie's best interests.
All right.
But that doesn't matter. What matters is how good you look, right?
Of course. So let's see. So we got Mass Vigilante, the Stranger. What are the other three roles we have here? Just so I'm having in mind.
Well, you can make your own up. I mean,
what else do we have so far? Is what I'm asking.
Well, also I have some. I also have the the other people on contract, which is Larry and Eddie are coming back.
Yeah.
Larry the Possum and Eddie the Boar, who are also on contract. And Gilbert's going to come back, or Ann Gables is going to come back. So I guess she's going to play the Southern Belle because it's 1950s, and I apologize to everyone watching this stream. But
we're gonna need you to put on your best accent here.
I say, I've always depended on the kindness of strangers. It's like that's the wrong movie. So yeah. And she's also old, so
I mean, it's going to be a return to form for me, since those Zorro type movies are where Espinia got her start.
There we go. Those look good. And so yeah, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Larry is gonna go ahead and be the town drunk. He's a possum. This is hilarious. He just lies comatose all the time. And Eddie will be the guy who runs the general store. Because those are some stock roles that we're going to need. So in which case, we don't actually have a sheriff, but you don't actually have to have a sheriff to have a Wild West movie.
Yeah, this could be the lawless town on the...
Or it could just be an NPC.
Well, no, I mean, it could be the lawless town on the edge of civilization. Didn't have a sheriff.
That could be it too, and a mysterious stranger comes in to finally clean up the town.
I mean, famously, you think of shows like Deadwood, things like that, where they had to make somebody a sheriff. Maybe the stranger becomes a sheriff by the end.
What about the masked vigilante? I vote for Zorro to be the mayor.
You can't vote for Zorro. Zorro doesn't show up to the court dates. That's why we can never get the bad guy in jail.
Of course,
Zorro still wanted for several counts of murder.
Clearly, this town is in deep need of God. I should be mayor.
So,
I'm sorry, which church do you belong to?
The Church of the Holy Roman Empire.
I think you're in the wrong movie, sir.
Damn it! I keep trying to tell you,
You're
dude.
also not even in the right Gladiator movie either.
I'm doing that movie, dude. Next movie.
Holy Roman Empire was Germanic.
So were they Catholic or Protestant back in the West? Or were
Well,
they-
if we're
Didn't
talking,
exist until like the 1600s.
I mean, if we're talking Wild West, you could be Mormon.
There you go.
I do have a Book of Mormon, but I don't have enough time to research it. All I know is that a Jew was calling other Jews the Jews and painted them as the enemy from word one.
Let's stay away
Wow.
from that.
Yeah, let's make our film different.
We're a little romanticized, so
You could just be nondescript. Just make sure you're holding a Bible in most of your scenes. Maybe sometimes you have that little white thing.
Oh yeah, and the collar.
Yeah, or at least some sort of, cross necklace.
He's got rosary beads hanging on his belt.
you're not Jewish if you have okay. I'm gonna calm down now.
Oh, you gotta be Jewish? So he's got the little beanie.
No,
on.
it's you can be whatever you want. I'm just the thing that makes me the most mad about Pinterest is that Pinterest still shows up in Google searches, even if you tell it don't put Pinterest in the Google searches.
Yeah.
And then you just cannot get the files out of Pinterest. Is the problem.
I hate Pinterest so much. Okay. Guess this. Where is that?
I like that horse's carriage in the background there, sir.
Yeah. Well, it's a continuity error.
The
No.
extras had to park somewhere, and this is the only place they could find space.
I'm changing. I'm going back to the guy from the future. I got to get my DeLorean out of the street.
How do you change the name of a map?
Right under the map. When you bring it down to the part where you switch maps, you just start typing underneath the map. Or at least that's the way it used to be.
Yeah, I think the plugin overwrites that.
In which case I can't help you.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to change the name of this map. I can't figure out how to do it. Untitled it is.
Oh, I think you just you just click on the title and it should highlight and you can erase it.
That doesn't work if you have the VTT plugin installed.
There, I fixed the picture.
Let me check 1 second. Let me jump into my game.
Oh,
I know there's a way to do it.
Okay.
well, somebody unfixed the picture.
Oh, what was that? Oh,
I blotted out the car, and somebody just dragged it away and put the car back in.
I saw that. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. There is a car in this picture. That's hilarious.
That's what I said. It's my DeLorean. I'm from the future.
And now there's a horse.
Now there's a horse.
I've changed our Western into a sci-fi Western.
I love that we're playing the War Movies game and you all pick Western, which means you're all riding horses. So, which is gonna raise some questions.
What's a movie without being questionable?
Well, why not just have them be dinosaurs?
We'll just walk around with a bunch of coconuts. We'll be clapping.
Oh God. I don't know these people.
Well, you can only ride a horse if you have transport dice.
Raf, with the VPT, you just right click on the title and it'll put you into edit mode.
Doesn't do that.
I'm doing it right now on my.
Sorry, it does. Okay. We need a title for this movie.
Wagon smoke.
Yes.
Wagon smoke.
Okay.
Wagon slope?
No, smoke.
There's got to be a burning wagon somewhere then.
Wagon smoke. Come on, it just sounds
burning spokes. It is. Burning smoke.
burning
So the plot
spokes.
of this movie is we have a stranger and a masked adventurer, and who's our third guy who's not an outlaw? Oh, the priest.
A priest and an evil guy, an evil bandit. The evil bandit is terrorizing the town, and the stranger and the masked vigilante come in and try to stop him.
Okay, so evil bandit. What is your what is your name?
As the bandit?
Yeah, you have to have a name of your character, like Liberty Valance or something.
Mendoza.
So you are Mendoza.
Mendoza. Yeah, there you go. Mendoza the Bandito.
Yes, your name is Hugo Mendoza.
Let me change my character name now.
But you are a lone bandit because you're an outlaw unless you have an entourage.
No, I got henchmen. They're petty henchmen. Like
You do have petty henchmen.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a whole gaggle of gang members, but I'm the only person that ever does any real action is me.
So your goal is you are being paid by, we're gonna go ahead and hire John Carradine. There's an evil raccoon by the name of, I like this name, Lyle Stalinhof. That's a name.
Stalinhof?
That's my character's name right there. Mendoza El Bandito.
You are working for Lyle Stalin. You're working for Mr. Stalin.
Mr. Stalin? Perfect.
Yeah, Mr. Stalin.
We'll put in a little bit of the Red Scary here. That's totally 50s.
Yeah. That might be one of the secret goals. So
that guarantees that we won't be won't be subpoenaed to the House on Un-American Activities.
Lyle Stalinhof here is he's the barbarian who wants the entire town to sell out. So if they sell their land to him, he can go ahead and build a railway through it.
There you go. Typical.
Yes. But naturally, for some reason, never made entirely clear to us, the people of the town aren't selling. Probably because he wants to run them off the land so he can just seize it without paying people the $5 it would cost to do this.
He could just pay everyone off, but he decides not to because why? Why? When he could just hire me to drive them off the land for much cheaper.
Which is weird because you think he'd be more expensive.
No, I'm cheap. I'm cheap Mexican labor.
Okay. But the people here of Spokeburg, for some reason, are lawless. They don't even have a sheriff. It's now Call for Heroes. So I guess, for Act 1, I guess we would have to introduce folks. So I guess after our credits roll, and we have a lot of B-rolls of the mountains, including, what's that famous rock that's in all the freaking Western
Monument
movies?
Valley.
Monument Valley.
Which I've been to.
So I guess, okay, mysterious mass vigilante. Do you have a name?
I do. Espina de Rosa.
Spina de Rosa.
Rose thorns.
Do you walk around with like a rose in your lapel or mouth or something?
Yes, I'm very much tuxedo mask.
Tuxedo mask. Well, my work here is done.
But you didn't do anything.
Bowler hat and suit.
And why are you masked? Was it that your entire family was killed and that you have to then you made a mask out of your dead brother's vest?
He's a saloon owner and he has a large investment.
Well, for one thing, Espina is a she. But yeah, no, my brother was probably killed by some sort of outlaw. We moved out here together. And my brother was killed by some outlaw that wouldn't pay up or whatever the outlaw wanted. And I decided to take vengeance.
That's why she has to assume a secret identity, because she's a saloon owner, and
Orlando.
No, I'm not a saloon owner.
No, you have a hacienda. In fact, this movie is going to be filmed across. In fact, all right, congratulations. Our budget just went up because we're going to film the movie in Mexico.
In Mexico, yay! Nobody drink the water. I did this last time, guys.
What's that episode of Monk?
The good news is the movie's being filmed in Mexico. The bad news is this means half the crew doesn't speak the same language as the other half of the crew.
I mean, that worked out very well for the filming of Dracula.
And it worked out terribly for the shooting of Troll 2.
Well, I mean, the English version of Dracula sucked ass, but the Spanish version of Dracula was amazing because they were making the movie after the English one, but it came out. The Spanish one came out first, but they were doing amazing things with the sets and everything, and the English speaking people were just sitting on their asses, not using it to the full effect.
Right. No, that's a good example. But another example is what they always call the worst movie ever made, Troll 2, where half the crew only spoke Italian, including the director. And so the other half of the crew, including the English-speaking actors, have no idea what's going on.
There was some other movie that was also like that, where like the set designer and the costume designer were like French, and like the director couldn't even understand what they were doing. So like he would show up and the sets would look like nothing like he imagined them, because they just let these French designers just do whatever the hell he wanted to do.
Yeah.